Okay, so there's this really curious phenomenon happening. Lots of people are reporting it. It's like a subtle but kind of persistent pull towards the year 2026. And it's not coming from, news headlines or big announcements. It seems to be this quiet, almost inexplicable knowing that's just, well, it's just there. Have you felt anything like that? That quiet little stir inside, almost like a date is sort of whispering to you.
It's truly remarkable, yeah, because it's not just one or two people saying this. Yeah. Our main source for this deep dive, Valier, actually describes it as a planetary intuition surfacing simultaneously within many.
Wow, planetary intuition.
Right, which suggests, there's some kind of higher synchronicity at play. It's this widespread, unbidden knowing that seems to cut across different cultures, different individual experiences. Like the collective consciousness itself is sensing something significant is on the horizon.
And that's exactly what we want to unpack today. This whole deep dive is really about trying to understand this shared emerging intuition about 2026, and we're drawing heavily on Valier's observations here. Valier calls 2026 a psychic magnet, which is such a powerful image, and we're going to explore how its energy is apparently quietly tugging at dreams, visions, and synchronicities, almost like it's pulling them into its orbit.
Yeah, pulling them in.
So the big question is, what could this all mean for you? As you're navigating your own path, think of this as maybe a shortcut to understanding something a lot of people are feeling, but maybe finding it hard to put into words. Hashtag the subtle shared knowing. It really does make you wonder, doesn't it? This whole idea that so many people, completely independently, could be zoning in on the same specific year. Right. It's not like there's some, secret email list going around. What is it about this collective intuition that feels so unique, so unorchestrated?
That's a really profound question, and Valier offers a pretty compelling perspective on it. The sources highlight that many star seeds and light workers, those are terms Valier uses for souls believed to have maybe originated elsewhere, here to help Earth's evolution. And also just countless individuals who are newly awakening to more spiritual ideas. They're all independently kind of circling 2026 in their minds, in their hearts.
Independently, that's the key.
Exactly. And this awareness, it isn't usually loud or dramatic. Valier describes it more as a gentle yet persistent thought, or maybe a growing sense of anticipation that just sort of swells up when you think about the near future. It's almost like there's this inner compass shared by many, quietly but firmly pointing right at 2026 without any external instruction. Valier's very clear on this point. No news headline or outside authority has planted this in you. It emerges unbidden from the depths of your own knowing.
Wow.
It's described as a mystery that ties strangers together, a genuine silent chorus, everyone somehow attuned to the same note. And it's this collective spontaneous emergence that makes it so fascinating. It really points to something much deeper than, say, human planning or just a passing trend.
That phrase, inner compass shared by many, that's incredibly powerful. It really does suggest some kind of collective unconscious GPS, maybe, all directing us towards the same waypoint.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But if it's not coming from outside, how does this knowing actually feel for someone who's experiencing it? Is it like a sudden lightning bolt, or is it more like a background hum that just gets louder?
It seems to be more often the background hum, one that kind of builds over time. Valier details it, like I said, as that gentle yet persistent thought, or a growing sense of anticipation that often surfaces when you're reflecting on what's ahead.
Right.
So it's not necessarily some big dramatic revelation, more like a subtle recurring feeling, a resonance. Imagine having this quiet conviction that something important is approaching. You can't quite shake it, even if you can't logically explain why that specific year, 2026, stands out. It's the kind of intuition that actually gets stronger when you think about it, prompting you to revisit that time frame in your mind again and again. And that just reinforces its significance.
So it feeds itself, in a way.
In a way, yes. And this quiet knowing is particularly interesting because it is unprompted. It arises organically from within so many different people, suggesting a deeper energetic alignment rather than some planned event. It seems to bypass our usual logical filters and speak directly to our inner wisdom.
And it's not just this vague sense of sometime in the future. It's almost like 2026 itself has a presence, like it's exerting this powerful gravitational pull.
Exactly.
So if your thoughts keep drifting to that year, or maybe your meditations keep centering around it without you even planning it, Valier is suggesting that's absolutely no coincidence. You're simply tuning into this really profound energetic resonance.
Precisely. And what's truly intriguing when you really dig into Valier's insights is to ask, what exactly is this psychic magnet drawing us towards?
Right. What's the there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Valier describes 2026 as potentially a shining peak of consciousness, a kind of potent focal point in the collective psyche that pulls people in, often without them fully understanding why.
A focal point.
Yes. It's framed like a subtle vortex in time. Its energy is described as reaching out across the timeline, quietly tugging at dreams, visions, and synchronicities, pulling them into its orbit.
But vortex in time, that's a heavy concept.
It is. It implies it's this point of really intense focus and potential, not just, a passive date on the calendar. It seems to emit a distinct frequency, something that calls to the deeper layers of our awareness. And these subtle currents in the collective unconscious, they flow towards it almost as if responding to a gravitational pull. Even things in your life that seem totally unrelated might start aligning in ways that somehow highlight 2026. Valier uses the image of pieces of a puzzle gathering around a forming picture.
Okay, I can see that.
But it's crucial to understand, Valier stresses this, it's not predestined to make things happen to you. It's more that your soul is magnetized to what 2026 symbolizes.
Oh, okay. The symbolism.
Right. It holds an invitation, an energetic promise. And it seems this promise is what the collective unconscious is responding to, en masse. It signifies a deep readiness within humanity for a really significant shift.
So if 2026 is this psychic magnet pulling us in, what are some of the iron filings we're seeing gather around it? You said it's not just a vague pull, it's an invitation to engage with a new frequency.
Yeah.
It sounds less like a destination you just arrive at and more like a powerful current you have to learn to swim with, something that can accelerate your own growth. What are some practical ways this magnetism might show up in our daily lives beyond just that quiet hunch?
Well, Valier points to several compelling ways it manifests. First, there's often this feeling of increasing alignment. For instance, you might find yourself just unexpectedly drawn to certain books or teachers, maybe communities that, when you reflect on it later, seem to be preparing you for the energetic qualities associated with 2026.
Right, like breadcrumbs on the path.
Exactly. It's as if the universe is subtly rearranging things in your life to bring you into greater resonance with this approaching frequency. And second, there's often a sense of acceleration in personal growth.
Okay.
Challenges or lessons that might have taken years to work through before now seem to demand attention and resolution much more quickly. It feels like it's propelling you forward. That's part of that pulling into its orbit idea. It's not just about being aware, it's about actively participating in your own evolution, spurred on by this magnetic field.
So it demands engagement.
Yes. That energetic promise Valier talks about, it isn't presented as a passive gift you just receive. It's framed as an active invitation to engage with deep transformation. # how this awareness manifests personally.
Okay, so this subtle knowing about 2026, it can show up in some very personal, sometimes pretty surprising ways. You mentioned dreams, like if you've woken up with numbers or really strange scenes in your head, and you're wondering, is that just my brain being weird? Valier's perspective suggests it's actually far more intentional, like a direct message.
Indeed. Valier talks quite a bit about dream stamps and these vivid flashes. It's explained that many people are receiving vivid flashes that almost brand themselves onto your awareness. It could be a recurring motif of 2026 appearing in dreams or during meditation, or even just sudden daydreams.
Like out of the blue?
Yeah. You might wake up with 2026 glowing in your mind's eye, literally, or see specific dates flash, or maybe hear someone whispering 2026 just as you're waking up. And beyond just the numbers, there's often this flood of symbolic imagery that seems to recur for people. Things like brilliant light pouring over landscapes, or visions of gatherings of souls beneath skies alive with stars, maybe standing in a crowd at the dawn of a new era, feeling this overwhelming sense of unity and purpose.
Wow, those are powerful images.
Very. And the point Valier makes is that these aren't just random fragmented bits of subconscious thought. They're described as deliberate markers, like signposts planted by your higher self and loving guides to make sure you don't miss the significance of this time.
Signposts from your higher self.
Right. And the feeling you have after waking from these dream stamps is key. Valier notes there's often this sense of urgency entwined with hope, a feeling that really lingers long after you wake up.
The feeling is part of the message.
Exactly. It confirms that beneath the image, there's a message meant specifically for you. It's preparing your heart and your mind for the shift that 2026 signifies. It's seen as part of a sophisticated guidance system, a way for your deeper self to communicate with your waking consciousness. These are like significant announcements from the subtle realms, designed to gently announce and prepare us, making sure we're attuned and ready.
That's a really powerful idea that our higher selves are actively planting these markers for us. So, okay, for someone experiencing these vivid dreams or flashes, what's the intended action then? Is it just about noticing, or is there a deeper message we're meant to integrate into our waking lives?
Well, Valier emphasizes that the primary purpose seems to be awareness and preparation. Noticing is definitely the first step. But these dream stamps, they often carry an energetic signature that helps to subtly recalibrate your own vibration.
Recalibrate? How so?
Well, for instance, that feeling of overwhelming unity and purpose experienced in a dream. Valier suggests that might be like an energetic download, helping you to embody more of that quality in your waking hours. So it's not necessarily about immediate action out there in the physical world, but more about an internal alignment.
Ah, okay. Inner work.
Exactly. They're preparing your energetic field, your emotional body, your conscious mind, making them more receptive to the frequencies that 2026 is said to be bringing. It's kind of like a spiritual software update is being downloaded, getting you ready.
Okay, that makes sense. And it's not just happening in our minds or dreams, right? We mentioned our physical bodies seem to be in on this knowing too. Like, have you personally felt those odd physical sensations? Maybe a sudden flutter in your chest or an unexplained buzz of energy. Valier suggests it's your body actually speaking to you, maybe even before your mind has the words for it.
Yes, absolutely. Valier refers to this as somatic prophecy. It's described as a peculiar stirring in your physical being that can happen whenever thoughts of the near future arise. It's like an echo back in time that your cells can perceive.
Whoa, an echo back in time.
Yeah. And crucially, these feelings aren't seen as signs of anxiety or, too much coffee. They're framed as profound, intuitive responses to an approaching tipping point.
What kind of sensations are we talking about?
They can vary. Valier lists things like sudden butterflies in your stomach, a flutter in your chest, maybe a restless surge of energy, or an almost electric anticipation. Even subtle shifts in your heart rhythm. Your physical body, according to Valier, is naturally attuned to the Earth's energy and the collective field of humanity. It's picking up these frequencies almost like a radio tune to a distant signal. And then it translates that signal into these tangible bodily feelings, excitement, agitation, sometimes even a subtle trembling.
That raises a really interesting question then. If our bodies are genuinely sensing these shifts on a cellular level, what does that tell us about the connection between our physical selves and the larger collective consciousness? It's almost like our biology is getting a memo before our conscious mind has fully processed it.
It really does highlight that deep interconnectedness, doesn't it? Just like some animals seem to sense earthquakes or storms before they hit, Valier suggests our human bodies are also attuned to these energetic changes on the horizon.
Right.
We're encouraged by Valier to listen to these resonance echoes with compassion and curiosity, to understand that they're signs that, on a cellular level, you are already preparing for the changes to come. This bodily intuition is really a testament to the profound wisdom embedded within our physiology.
So trust the gut feelings.
Essentially, yes. It underscores that we aren't just intellectual beings.
Yeah.
We're energetic entities deeply interwoven with the fabric of reality, capable of perceiving subtle frequencies that might precede tangible events. It's a reminder to trust those gut feelings, those inexplicable shifts in your body, because they're part of your whole guidance system.
Okay, so we have dreams, body sensations, and then there are the numbers. Beyond the internal feelings, it seems like the universe might be speaking directly to us through numbers. It's almost like the universe is gently tapping you on the shoulder again and again. Have you started seeing the number 2026 everywhere now that you're aware of it? Because I have to admit,
It's uncanny, isn't it? Valier definitely points this out, that people are noticing 2026 popping up with uncanny frequency in daily life. And the Force suggests this isn't just, confirmation bias, where you notice it because you're thinking about it.
right, it feels more deliberate sometimes.
Exactly. We're talking about specific, sometimes undeniable instances, like your grocery receipt totaling exactly $20.26, or glancing at the clock and it seems to pause at 8:26 p.m. night after night, or seeing it repeatedly on license plates, street addresses, even in really unexpected places like book page numbers or just a fleeting digital display.
Yeah.
Valier asserts these aren't random. They feel too deliberate to ignore, almost as if reality itself is highlighting that number. These are called numerical nudges, and they're said to carry a vibrational message.
A message in the number.
Yeah. In this context, Valier suggests 2026 has become a kind of shorthand, signaling pay attention. The idea is the universe is speaking directly to your intuitive mind, bypassing the logical filters. So when you see it, the message is to notice what you were just thinking or feeling in that exact moment. It often underscores the importance of that thought or feeling, or confirms you're in alignment. As Valier puts it, such signs are the universe's way of speaking directly to your intuitive mind.
I have to admit, since we started prepping for this deep dive, I've definitely caught myself doing double takes at my phone, wondering if 20.26 is going to pop up next. It's almost like once you become aware, the universe is just waiting to play along. Does Valier talk about that playful aspect of synchronicity? How it sometimes seems to wink at us?
Oh, absolutely. Valier describes it almost as a playful conversation between you and the cosmos. It's often reported that once you acknowledge the significance of these signs, the occurrences actually increase.
Really?
Yeah, as if the universe sort of delights in confirming your heightened awareness. So it's not just about delivering a message, it's about building this conscious relationship with the subtle language of reality. These numerical nudges, they act as affirmations that your intuition is on track, that you're being guided and supported as the collective energy shifts towards 2026.
Like cosmic breadcrumbs.
Exactly, cosmic breadcrumbs, ensuring you feel supported and, on the right track.
Yeah.
It's not about superstition. It's framed as recognizing the intelligent design woven into the fabric of our everyday experience.
Yeah.
#tag the broader landscape of change.
Okay, so it's not just our individual experiences, the dreams, the feelings, the numbers that are hinting at this upcoming transformation. There seem to be broader, more systemic shifts happening too, echoing this profound movement. Like, are you feeling the days just whirling by faster than ever before?
Oh, definitely.
Valier suggests this isn't just, us getting older, it's potentially a grand acceleration as we approach a significant threshold.
Yes. Valier introduces this really interesting concept called time wave compression. The idea is that many people are sensing that time itself is in a state of acceleration as 2026 gets closer. What maybe felt like a steady flow before now seems to be rushing forward. Valier uses the analogy of the river of time narrowing and picking up speed. Now, this isn't about clock time physically speeding up, obviously. It's more about our experiential bandwidth expanding. We seem to be processing and integrating more lessons, more experiences in what feels like a shorter span of time.
Okay, so we're packing more in.
Exactly. It's that subjective feeling that events and personal lessons are folding in on themselves, arriving one after another with little pause. Things that might have taken years to unfold or resolve before are now clustering tightly together. Valier notes that 1 month in the current energy feel like a year's worth of change and realization.
Wow, that resonates. It does feel intense sometimes.
It does, and Valier clarifies that this quickening is intimately tied to the energetic approach of 2026. It's as if the fabric of time and experience responds by stretching and then contracting like a deep breath before a leap.
A breath before a leap.
Yeah, and Valier reassures us that this intense period isn't a sign we're running out of time. It's more that we're present for a grand acceleration, specifically designed to prepare us for the transformative moment 2026 heralds. The advice is that by staying centered amidst the rush, we can ride this accelerated wave straight into the transformative moment.
That's a really fascinating reframe. So this time wave compression isn't meant to be punishing, it's actually an intensifier for our growth. Like a spiritual boot camp almost, compacting years of lessons into months.
It's a good way to think about it, yeah.
How does Valier suggest we best navigate such an intense period without just feeling completely overwhelmed or burned out?
That's a crucial point, and Valier does offer guidance. Instead of trying to fight the acceleration, the advice is to lean into presence and radical self-care.
Okay.
It means consciously choosing to stay grounded, maybe through practices like meditation or spending time in nature, prioritizing your intuitive guidance over all the external pressures, and really cultivating compassion for yourself as these lessons come thick and fast.
Right, be kind to yourself through it.
Exactly. Valier emphasizes it's not about doing more stuff, but about processing what comes up more deeply. It requires becoming highly discerning about where you place your energy and attention, recognizing that every experience, even the really challenging ones, might be designed to bring you into greater alignment for the shifts of 2026. That river analogy is useful. You don't fight the current when it speeds up, you learn to flow with it, finding your stability within the acceleration.
Finding stability within the acceleration, I like that. And as this collective consciousness shifts and speeds up, it seems the stories we tell ourselves are changing too, maybe even subconsciously. So if you find yourself suddenly drawn to movies or books about epic journeys or major transformations, Valier suggests it's not just a random trend. It could be humanity's collective subconscious getting ready for something big.
Precisely. Valier notes that in times of imminent transformation, the collective mind begins to speak in the language of symbols and myth. And we're definitely seeing certain themes appearing with striking frequency right now. Things like crossing a great bridge, or enduring a cleansing fire, or stepping through a mysterious doorway.
Yeah, those archetypes.
Exactly. They're popping up in movies, books, art, even just everyday conversations. And Valier argues these aren't just random artistic choices or coincidences. They represent the psyche's way of preparing humanity for a major shift.
Okay, so what do those specific symbols mean in this context?
Well, the bridge is seen as a classic archetype of transition. It signifies that necessary move from one realm, one way of being to another, a passage from old paradigms into the new.
Makes sense.
The fire is a powerful symbol of purification and transformation. It represents the burning away of the old, the obsolete, anything that's no longer serving our highest good. It makes space for renewal.
Like a cleansing fire.
And the doorway, that's seen as a potent invitation to step courageously into the unknown future. It acknowledges that we are standing right at a threshold. Valier emphasizes that these surges in archetypal imagery signal that a tipping point is near. And they also carry this subtle assurance that humanity has stood at thresholds before and survived.
That's comforting.
It is. They remind us on a deep level that what seems to be coming is both really significant and also kind of sacred.
It's really fascinating how these universal symbols just seep into our collective awareness, almost like a shared language preparing us. So if we're noticing these archetypes everywhere, what's the active role for us, the listeners? Is it just about recognizing them, or do they invite some deeper engagement?
Recognition is definitely the first and crucial step, according to Valier. Just by consciously identifying these archetypal signs, we shift from being passive recipients of whatever the collective unconscious is throwing up to becoming more active participants in its narrative. Valier suggests that actually engaging with these symbols, maybe through meditation or journaling about them, or just reflecting on how they resonate with your own personal journey, allows you to tap into that ancient knowing, that collective wisdom.
How would that work practically?
Well, for example, if you find yourself really drawn to that doorway archetype, Valier might suggest that's an invitation to bravely examine the areas in your own life where you feel you're on the cusp of a major change. And maybe it's encouraging you to choose courage over fear in stepping through. These symbols offer comfort and guidance through familiar patterns, even when the specific details of the future are unknown. They're like our collective memory, rising up to help us navigate profound change.
Our collective memory... Interesting. But this shift, this preparation, it isn't always comfortable, is it? It seems to involve a dismantling of things we thought were solid, were real.
No, it's often not comfortable.
Are you noticing more people around you questioning things? Established beliefs, traditional news sources? Valier suggests this might be a kind of quiet withdrawal of energy from old illusions.
Absolutely. Valier points directly at this, saying that underneath the surface of daily news, there's a deep unraveling at hand. Those long-standing narratives that once held the collective imagination are growing thin and frayed.
Thin and frayed.
Yeah. Many political and social truths people just took for granted are revealing themselves to be hollow or outdated. Valier uses the image of hairline cracks spreading across a once solid mask. The seams of the old reality are splitting open under the weight of truth.
Under the weight of truth, that's powerful.
It is. What Valier describes is this profound shift in collective discernment. More individuals are questioning what they're told with increasing intensity. There's a growing collective impatience with business-as-usual explanation.
I definitely see that.
And this is key, Valier insists this isn't about despair. It actually carries a note of liberation. The idea is, as illusions crack, something much more authentic is getting ready to shine through.
Ah, okay. Liberation, not just collapse.
Right. In the atmosphere building towards 2026, Valier suggests that the inability of old narratives to hold will encourage a collective turning toward honesty, community, and new solutions that were previously kept in the shadows. So this unraveling is presented as a necessary precursor for building something more genuine, something more aligned with truth. The dismantling of the old is making space for the new to emerge, a new foundation based on authenticity, not illusion.
That's a much more empowering way to look at it, seeing this unraveling as liberation. But it can certainly feel chaotic while it's happening. How does Valier advise us to keep our footing when everything seems to be breaking down these old structures and narratives?
The advice from Valier centers on cultivating discernment and inner sovereignty. Basically, instead of getting swept up in the emotional turbulence of all these conflicting narratives flying around.
Which is easy to do.
Very easy. Valier suggests focusing on your personal truth and your intuition. It's about asking yourself, does this resonate with my deepest knowing? Rather than just accepting information at face value.
Okay, check in with yourself first.
Exactly. By consciously withdrawing your energy from narratives that feel inauthentic or fear-based, Valier says you actually contribute to their dissolution, and simultaneously, you strengthen the emerging field of truth. This shift encourages us to actively participate in creating new, more authentic realities by grounding ourselves in what feels true and resonant deep inside. It's about recognizing that the weight of truth is what's causing these cracks, and that ultimately, that's a benevolent force.
Okay, grounding in personal truth. That makes sense. And it seems it's not just us humans feeling this shift. Valier suggests even the planet itself is in on it. Have you noticed any unusual natural phenomena lately? Maybe subtle shifts in your local environment, the ecosystem?
Yes, Valier speaks quite specifically about Earth herself, signaling the approach of something monumental. This happens through subtle changes in ecosystems unfolding in step with humanity's awakening.
Okay, like what kind of changes?
They aren't always dramatic, big headline events. Often they manifest as quiet anomalies. Things like unusual shifts in bird or animal migratory patterns. Plants blooming way out of season or at unexpected times. Trees shedding their leaves or holding onto them in ways that defy the typical seasonal patterns.
I think I have noticed some weirdness with plants lately.
Right. And beyond the purely scientific explanations for these things, Valier offers a quieter spiritual explanation. The idea is that Gaia, the living earth, is a conscious being, and her rhythms are deeply intertwined with human consciousness.
So Gaia is responding to us.
Or perhaps co-creating with us. As 2026 nears, Valier suggests Gaia is adjusting her heartbeat to synchronize with the coming change, almost acting as a kind of countdown. Valier even likens it to how animals sometimes sense earthquakes or storms before they arrive, suggesting that wild creatures might be sensing an energetic storm of transformation right alongside humanity. It really deepens our understanding of our interconnectedness, implying the planet itself is part of this grand unfolding, reflecting and responding to the energetic shifts happening within the collective consciousness of humanity. Earth is seen as a co-participant, subtly preparing and guiding humanity toward the threshold of 2026. It's a powerful reminder that we're part of a much larger living system, all moving together towards this significant moment.
That's a really powerful and honestly humbling thought, that even the trees and the birds might be subtly part of this countdown. What does Valier suggest we can do to consciously tune into Gaia's signals, beyond just observing these changes in nature? Are there specific practices to deepen that synchronization?
There are. Valier emphasizes that by consciously grounding ourselves, really connecting with the earth, spending mindful time in nature, and actively sending gratitude and loving intention to the planet, we not only become more sensitive receptors of these signals, but we also become active participants in this planetary recalibration.
So it's a two-way street.
Exactly, an energetic exchange. Valier suggests simple practices like walking barefoot on the earth, earthing, as some call it, sitting quietly against a tree, even just visualizing a green light connecting your heart to the earth's core during meditation. These acts, according to Valier, help to stabilize the collective field as we approach 2026. We contribute our own steady frequency to Gaia's changing rhythm. It's a recognition that our individual energy isn't isolated at all, but part of this vast, interconnected web of life. #Tech, a collective convergence.
You know, the truly compelling part of this whole 2026 phenomenon for me is its completely unorchestrated nature. Imagine people from totally different walks of life, different cultures, different beliefs without any coordination, all starting to talk about the same specific time frame. Valier calls this a genuine collective convergence at work.
It really is a powerful testament to the authenticity of this intuition, isn't it? Valier explains that the message or the feeling about 2026 is arising independently in many communities all over the globe.
Where exactly?
Well, Valier mentions it appearing in meditation circles, obviously, but also in astrology podcasts, yoga classes, gatherings of indigenous elders, even philosophy forums and self-improvement groups online.
Wow, really diverse places.
Totally diverse. And what's remarkable is that no single guru or institution is declaring 2026 as the focal point. It's more that people from all these various traditions and belief systems are arriving at it of their own accord. Valier uses this great image. It's like each path of wisdom has a compass needle quietly turning toward the same number.
I like that.
And this crosstalk, as Valier calls it, it reinforces that the intuition about 2026 is authentic and widespread. It confirms that the collective field is tuning itself without any central orchestrator. That really speaks to a deeper, underlying energetic reality that transcends cultural and linguistic barriers. It implies there's some kind of universal signal being broadcast, and all these different human receivers are picking it up, each maybe interpreting it through their own lens, but ultimately arriving at the same temporal focal point. This convergence really highlights a profound unity in our collective consciousness, a shared recognition of a significant moment coming up.
That really does solidify the idea that this isn't some human-made trend or marketing campaign. It feels much more organic. So for someone out there who might feel a bit isolated in their intuition about this, hearing that it's actually a widespread, independent phenomenon must be incredibly validating.
Oh, absolutely.
Does Valier offer any insights into why this particular year, 2026, seems to be the specific point of convergence for so many different paths? Is there something special about the number itself or the timing?
Valier suggests that 2026 isn't just a random point on the calendar, but rather it represents a kind of naturally occurring energetic nexus within the cosmic timeline.
An energetic nexus.
Yeah, think of it like certain celestial alignments or astronomical events that create unique energetic windows. Valier posits that 2026 might be a culmination point of various cycles, spiritual cycles, energetic cycles, maybe even evolutionary cycles that are all pointing to this specific time frame as a moment of particularly heightened potential.
So it's less about the number 2026 itself.
Exactly. It's more about the specific vibrational frequency associated with that period in time. Valier suggests that the collective consciousness and its inherent wisdom is simply responding to this powerful energetic beacon, much like, say, a flock of birds instinctively knows when and where to converge for migration. It's this inherent subconscious knowing that allows individuals from such diverse backgrounds to arrive at the same conclusion independently.
Okay. And on an even grander scale, it seems this convergence isn't just about people connecting. Valier suggests it's about possibilities themselves converging. So this isn't necessarily about one single predestined event happening in 2026. It sounds more like life itself has set a kind of grand appointment, and every path, every choice is somehow invited to converge around this powerful moment in time.
Valier offers a really beautiful metaphor here. On a higher plane, time is described not as a straight line, but as a dynamic tapestry woven from countless choices and possibilities. There are multiple probability streams flowing constantly.
Right, like parallel timelines.
Sort of, yes. Usually these streams diverge, leading to countless potential futures based on choices made. However, Valier describes 2026 as a unique point of convergence. It's likened to many rivers meeting the same ocean, or maybe a knot in the weave of fate where numerous threads come together and intertwine.
A knot in the weave.
Yeah, it's seen as a crossroads of many potential futures. And here's the profound insight Valier offers. No matter which route you take, it seems to lead toward this time juncture as a place of resolution or decision.
Wow, so all roads lead to 2026, in a sense.
In a sense, yes. It implies that while our free will remains absolutely paramount in our individual journeys, the collective energy is somehow funneling towards a shared experience around 2026. Valier states that this convergence amplifies the significance of what happens in and around that year. It's not about being forced into a single locked-in future, but rather many diverse paths naturally aligning toward this crucial juncture, a moment that's ripe with synchronized potential and maybe collective decision-making.
So when you feel that pull towards 2026,
Valier suggests you are literally perceiving this field of convergence. It signifies your personal journey aligning with this greater collective appointment, a point where many, many stories will be woven into one shared moment.
that's a compelling vision, this tapestry of individual choices all converging into a shared experience.
So does this convergence of probability streams suggest a narrowing of possible outcomes maybe? Or is it simply a heightened potential for some kind of collective breakthrough? Valier definitely emphasizes the latter, a heightened potential for breakthrough and collective resolution. It's not presented as limiting choice, but rather creating this incredibly opportune moment where collaborative action and synchronized intention can have the greatest possible impact. Think of it like a planetary consensus point. When enough individuals align their intentions and their awareness towards a similar vibrational frequency, the collective potential for positive transformation becomes immense. It's described as a moment when those many rivers of individual destinies contribute to one powerful collective current, making it potentially easier to manifest desired outcomes on a larger scale. This convergence means that efforts made in and around 2026, whether personal or collective, will likely have an amplified resonance.
Amplified resonance, okay. And as we get closer to this convergence point, it seems the universe might be turning up the volume on its communication methods. Like, are coincidences piling up for you lately, almost faster than you can rationalize them away? Valier suggests this might be the universe making absolutely sure you're paying attention.
Oh, absolutely. Valier highlights this specifically, saying that in the lead up to 2026, the phenomenon of synchronicity is shifting into overdrive. What might have been just occasional interesting hints before can now feel like an avalanche of meaningful events.
An avalanche.
Yeah. You think of an old friend you haven't spoken to in ages, and they unexpectedly reach out the very next day.
Yeah.
Or you're pondering a specific question, and hours later you stumble upon an article or overhear a conversation that perfectly answers it.
Yes, that happens.
Right. Or you might notice repeated encounters with specific symbols, phrases, or numbers, like we talked about with 2026, far beyond what seems like mere coincidence. Valier asserts that reality itself is exuberantly conspiring to get your attention.
Exuberantly conspiring. I love that.
Me too. The closer we get to that pivotal year, Valier says, the more the volume is turned up on these cosmic winks. 2026, Valier explains, seems to act as an amplifier for synchronicity, because so many destinies and intentions are converging around it. When human hearts and minds align toward a shared threshold like this, events just seem to click into place in astounding ways.
So they're not random.
Valier insists they are not just random chance. They're seen as profound affirmations that you are in flow with a greater pattern, that you're riding the crest of this wave towards 2026. Valier explains it almost as if the web of life is lighting up with points of connection, like a symphony where every instrument suddenly tunes to the same note. It's meant to be an encouraging sign, letting us know we're on the right path, and that the universe is actively supporting our journey toward this collective moment.
That's a truly beautiful image, the web of life just lighting up. So these synchronicities, these cosmic winks, are they just messages of affirmation, confirmation that we're on track? Or does Valier suggest they also serve as guideposts, maybe steering us towards specific actions or understandings?
They absolutely seem to serve as guideposts as well, going beyond just affirmation. Valier points out that the context in which a synchronicity appears is often key.
Okay.
For instance, if you're genuinely pondering a specific decision, weighing two different paths, and suddenly you experience a really strong, undeniable synchronicity related to one of those paths, Valier suggests that's often a very clear signal of alignment.
A nudge from the universe.
Exactly. These aren't just random aha moments. They're framed as intelligent communications from the universe, designed to provide subtle nudges, confirm your direction, or maybe highlight specific areas that need your focus. They help us discern what Valier calls the highest probability timeline for both our individual and our collective growth. So by paying close attention to the specific content and the timing of these synchronicities, we can potentially gain clearer insights into our path and the collective unfolding towards 2026.
Okay, so pay attention to the details. Got it. And it's fascinating that it's not just those of us already kind of tuned into these spiritual shifts who are feeling it. It seems like a quiet ripple effect where the energy is getting so strong that even the most, shall we say, unlikely individuals are being gently nudged. Have you noticed this in people around you, maybe friends or family who previously showed zero interest in these kinds of topics?
Yes, Valier describes this phenomenon quite clearly. It's noted that not only the consciously awakened are feeling the approach of change, even those who have shown no interest in such matters are beginning to stir.
How does that show up?
Well, you might notice friends who've never meditated suddenly mentioning odd dreams or a gut feeling that just can't shake, or maybe a family member who always dismissed intuition or spiritual concepts now quietly asks you, have you been feeling like something is different lately? Valier describes these as the first movements of those who have maybe slumbered through the early alarms. Their conscious minds might not fully grasp what's happening, they might even rationalize it away, but Valier suggests their deeper selves know. The idea is that every human being is fundamentally tuned into the collective currents at a subconscious level.
So everyone feels it somehow.
Potentially, yes. They might experience it initially as just a vague anxiety, or maybe an unexplained anticipation, or perhaps a sudden, uncharacteristic interest in seeking deeper answers about life. Valier encourages us to observe these changes with compassion and encouragement, recognizing the courage it often takes for a skeptical mind to start questioning its own reality.
That's a good point.
This gentle awakening of others is seen as indicating a building waves of collective awareness. It signifies that the energy surrounding 2026 is truly pervasive, touching all of humanity and preparing everyone in their own unique way and timing for the coming shifts.
That's incredibly hopeful, isn't it? The idea that this awakening isn't exclusive to certain groups, but it's more like a universal stirring. What does Valier suggest is the impact of these sleepers beginning to awaken? What does that do to the collective momentum towards 2026?
It's seen as a profound amplification of the collective momentum. Valier explains that every single sleeper who stirs adds to the collective momentum. And their seemingly late arrival is actually viewed as part of the perfect timing orchestrated by the universe.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. Their awakening adds new energy, new consciousness to the collective field, which in turn accelerates the overall shift. Even if their initial experience is just one of vague anxiety or confusion, it still prompts them to seek answers, to question things. And this very act of inquiry contributes to the dissolution of those old fraying narratives and helps the emergence of new truths.
So even confusion helps.
In a way, yes, because it breaks the old patterns. Valier uses the orchestra metaphor again here. It's like more instruments are joining the orchestra. Even if they're still tuning up and finding their place, their presence adds to the overall potential for harmony. This mass awakening helps ensure that the shift towards 2026 is truly a collective human experience, inclusive of many different levels of awareness, ensuring its impact is profound and pervasive. Hashtag deeper meanings and implications.
Okay, so as we dig deeper into this, it becomes clear that this feeling, this intuition about 2026, it might not be entirely new. Valier suggests it could actually be a deep ancient remembrance surfacing now. Like, have you felt yourself inexplicably drawn to ancestral wisdom lately? Or maybe old prophecies?
Yes, Valier speaks very directly about ancestral echoes and ancient knowing. The idea is that deep in the human psyche lies the echo of ancient knowing. These whispers about a pivotal time to come.
Whispers from the past.
Exactly. Our ancestors, the shamans, the prophets, the wise elders across countless cultures, they carried visions of the future. They wove them into stories, prophecies, sacred texts. Many of them spoke of a distant era when the world would undergo a profound shift in consciousness, a time of great reckoning and renewal.
Right, many traditions have those prophecies.
We do. And though they might not have named the specific year 2026, Valier suggests their foresight aligns precisely with what many are sensing now.
Yeah.
So the feeling that something big is near might actually be a memory as much as a premonition.
Wow, a memory.
Yeah. The idea is that at the soul level, maybe even in our DNA, we carry our lineages, experiences, and hopes. These aren't just abstract concepts. Valier posits that those latent memories spark to life as the energetic frequency associated with 2026 draws near. It's as if a deep cellular memory is being activated, reminding us of a major turning point that has, in some way, been anticipated for generations.
That's a truly profound thought, that we might be living out a collective memory.
Yeah.
So if we connect that to the bigger picture, Valier suggests it means we don't stand at this threshold alone. Countless ancestors dreamed of this turning point.
Exactly.
What does Valier suggest we do to consciously honor these ancestral echoes? Can we draw strength from them somehow?
Valier definitely encourages conscious engagement with this ancestral connection. By actively honoring these echoes, maybe through specific ceremonies if that resonates, or through meditation, or even just simple acts of gratitude and remembrance for those who came before Valier, suggests you strengthen your connection to the guidance they offer. It's about recognizing that you're part of this long continuum, a living lineage carrying wisdom and resilience. For example, simply dedicating a moment of quiet reflection to your ancestors, or maybe engaging with cultural traditions that connect you to your heritage. Valier believes this can help activate these dormant wisdom codes within you.
Activate wisdom code.
Yeah. Valier suggests that by doing this, 2026 becomes not just a date in the future, but a bridge across time, linking you directly to the ancient past and its foresight. It's a pretty profound thought that we're not just witnessing some brand new phenomenon, but perhaps fulfilling a long-held anticipation encoded within our very being, and we can draw on the strength and wisdom of all those who came before us.
Wow, okay. Now, this period leading up to 2026, it also seems to bring with it some significant emotional shifts, right?
Definitely.
Have you ever woken up feeling a mood that just doesn't quite feel like yours, almost like the air itself is carrying different emotions day to day, Valier says you're not imagining it, you might actually be feeling the collective.
Yes. Valier explains that as 2026 draws nearer, people who are sensitive are increasingly sensing these distinct waves in the emotional climate. One day you might feel this inexplicable heaviness, maybe a pervasive sadness or frustration that doesn't seem connected to your personal life. Then the next day, you might experience this sudden buoyant hope or excitement that comes from nowhere, an uplifted feeling that kind of defies logic based on what's happening around you.
Yeah, I felt that.
Valier asserts this isn't just personal mood swings. It's often a consequence of tuning into the collective emotional field, which is described as being very much in flux right now. It's likened to the Earth's own heartbeat or breath, sometimes a tense inhale of concern, other times a relieved exhale of optimism.
Wow, the Earth's breath.
Yeah. Long suppressed collective anxieties and griefs might swell up to the surface as part of a necessary clearing process. But then these can be balanced and cleared by surges of collective hope and resolve. This phenomenon really requires us to develop greater emotional discernment.
So how do we do that?
Valier encourages us that when the emotional climate grows turbulent, ground yourself and send compassion into the field. And conversely, when the atmosphere brightens with hope, let it lift you. Understanding that these shifts aren't solely personal, that they're part of a larger collective process, can give you a sense of perspective. It helps reduce the tendency to internalize what might actually be a global energetic phenomenon. We can become active participants in stabilizing the collective field simply by contributing our calm heart to Earth's changing rhythm.
That's incredibly validating, actually. It really helps to know that those inexplicable emotional swings aren't just our own internal battles, but maybe a reflection of this larger energetic dance. How can we, as individuals, best manage these collective emotional fluctuations without just getting completely overwhelmed by them?
That's a key question. Valier emphasizes the importance of what could be called energetic hygiene during this time.
Energetic hygiene, like washing your hands.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Just as you'd wash your hands to prevent physical illness, Valier suggests practices to consciously clear your energetic field daily, or even multiple times a day if needed. This includes things like spending time in nature, conscious mindful breathing, meditation, salt baths maybe, and very importantly, consciously disconnecting from sources of relentlessly negative or fear-based information.
Right. Turn off the news sometimes.
Definitely. It's about becoming a conscious conduit, allowing these collective emotions to flow through you without getting stuck in you. By maintaining your own center and radiating your own stable frequency, whether that's peace or compassion or just neutrality, you actually become a beacon. You contribute to the collective emotional uplift and help to transmute some of the heavier energies. Valier presents this as a powerful act of service to the whole, simply by managing your own internal state effectively.
Okay. Managing your own state as an act of service. I like that. Now, as this light of awareness grows stronger, towards 2026, there's often a powerful response from whatever's being illuminated, right? The shadows. So if things seem to be getting more intense or chaotic around you, maybe in global events or even in personal conflicts, Valier offers a really powerful reframe. This could actually be a sign that things are, paradoxically, getting better.
This is a really crucial insight from Valier, yes. The principle is, as light grows stronger, the shadow often reacts by flaring up in a final attempt to hold its ground.
A final attempt.
Right. Many people intuit that forces of fear and manipulation may reach a peak of intensity as 2026 approaches. But Valier insists this is not because they are winning, but because they sense their time is ending.
Like a cornered animal fighting back.
Exactly. It's likened to the last fierce storm before the calm. Or maybe the final act of a play where the tension briefly heightens before resolution. Valier advises us to expect, potentially, more blatant efforts to sow division, amplify fear, or tighten control. We might see old patterns of conflict and deception could surge as if on overdrive. This is seen as the shadow's desperate attempt to hold on to its diminishing power. However, and this is the critical reframe Valier emphasizes, that this intensity of negative or chaotic events around 2026 is not a sign of darkness prevailing, it's a sign of it exhausting itself. It's the shadow's last surge, like a candle flame dancing wildly just before it extinguishes.
Wow.
The advice from Valier is to hold your center and stay anchored in truth. And crucially, by witnessing these final shadow plays without giving them power, you help to transmute them. Every time we consciously choose love over fear, clarity over confusion, or compassion over judgment, we diminish the shadow's fuel. This reframes apparent chaos as a necessary, albeit challenging, part of the transition, ultimately giving way to a new dawn where the darkness will give way to a new light. It encourages resilience and conscious participation, even in the face of what looks like adversity.
That's a truly profound perspective shift, seeing the current chaos not as a descent into darkness, but as the final, desperate spasms of an old paradigm. But for someone who feels caught right in the middle of these intense shadow plays, maybe personally or seeing it globally, how does Valier suggest we actually witness them without giving them power? What does that look like, practically speaking?
Practically, it means consciously choosing where you place your attention and your energy. Valier strongly advises against getting sucked into the drama or being swept away by fear-based narratives, which is so easy to do.
Yeah, the outrage machine.
Exactly. Instead, Valier encourages cultivating what's called neutral observation, witnessing events, acknowledging they're happening, but without internalizing them or allowing them to trigger intense, prolonged emotional reactions. It involves discernment, understanding that heightened conflict or division is often, paradoxically, a sign that underlying dysfunctional structures are crumbling.
Okay, neutral observation.
Practically, this might mean consciously disengaging from endless news cycles that primarily fuel fear or anger, setting clear boundaries with individuals who consistently amplify negativity, and actively, deliberately focusing your thoughts and energy on what you do wish to create and experience in the world. By radiating your own inner calm, your own truth, Valier suggests you become a kind of counter-frequency to the shadow's efforts. You help stabilize the collective field and actually accelerate the shadow's dissolution. This is how, Valier explains, the darkness ultimately exhausts itself. It simply can't sustain itself in the presence of conscious, unwavering light. Hashtag 2026, a sacred rite of passage.
Okay, so given all of this, the personal intuitions, the collective stirrings, the planetary shifts, even the shadow's final surge, how should we really perceive 2026 itself? It sounds like instead of bracing for some specific external cataclysm, Valier is inviting us to see it more as a profound internal shift, like a quiet yet incredibly powerful ceremony for humanity.
That's exactly the framing Valier offers. We're asked to envision 2026 not as an apocalyptic event, but as a sacred rite of passage for humanity.
A rite of passage.
Yes, it's explicitly stated it's not a disaster or a single explosive moment, but rather a collective threshold that humanity is destined to cross. It's portrayed more like an initiation ceremony unfolding mostly in the realm of spirit and consciousness.
Mostly internal, then?
Primarily, yes. Humanity is likened to a traveler standing before a great invisible doorway. And the idea is that people step through this doorway in their own way, at their own pace. And crucially, this happens not because of a decree or any forced global event, but through the accumulation of countless individual awakenings and transformations.
Accumulation.
Right. Valley compares it beautifully to a wave of people lighting candles one by one until the darkness is illuminated. This really emphasizes that the profound change isn't expected to be one grand external event that happens to us, but rather the cumulative effect of countless personal shifts happening within us. It's an internal revolution that, when enough individuals participate, eventually shifts the collective reality, ushering in a fundamentally new narrative for humanity.
So the question becomes...
Exactly. The question then becomes, as Valier puts it, if millions will have quietly enacted their part in this crossing through their own individual awakenings and transformations, what is the new story that humanity is actually moving into?
That's a powerful and honestly deeply comforting image, humanity as this traveler, calmly stepping through an invisible doorway powered by individual awakenings. What does Valier suggest is the nature of this new story we might be moving into? What defines it?
Valier describes this potential new story as one defined by really unprecedented unity, authenticity, and a profound reorientation towards our collective well-being.
Unity and authenticity.
Yes. It's envisioned as a move away from the fragmented, often competitive narratives of the past toward a much deeper recognition of our shared humanity and our fundamental interconnectedness. In this potential new story, the value of compassion, collaboration, and conscious creation takes precedence over those old, ingrained patterns of division and fear. Now, Valier is clear, it's not about some instant utopia arriving on January 1st, 2026, but it is about a foundational shift in consciousness that allows for more harmonious, more sustainable ways of living together on Earth to emerge. Valier suggests it's a story where intuition is trusted more readily, authentic self-expression is celebrated, not suppressed, and humanity's deeper purpose, maybe as co-creators of our reality, comes into much sharper focus. And this shift begins quietly, Valier emphasizes, within each individual heart and mind, eventually radiating outwards to transform the collective.
That perspective is incredibly empowering, isn't it? Because it puts the power back in our hands. It's almost ironic, but Valier seems to suggest that by fully embracing the present moment right here, right now, you're actually co-creating the very future that 2026 signifies.
That's a central point.
So what small mindful choice can you, the listener, make today to contribute to this emerging reality?
Valier really emphasizes that the true significance of 2026 isn't the calendar date itself. It's the transformation happening within you as you prepare for it. This whole period right now is seen as an invitation to deep presence, to focus on the here and now instead of anxiously looking ahead, waiting for some external event to happen.
Will I be here now?
Exactly. Valier clarifies that the true tipping point is not a single day, but the sum of many small moments where you choose growth, love, and authenticity over old patterns. This completely shifts the perspective from passively expecting something to happen to actively co-creating it. Valier encourages us to think of each decision as a vote for the reality you wish to see. Every single time you practice compassion, or you listen to your intuition, or you speak your truth authentically, Valier says you are literally weaving the fabric of the future. By striving to become the best version of yourself, you naturally align with the energy that will define the coming era. This perspective empowers us to infuse our present moments with the very qualities we hope the future holds, helping us realize that, as Valier puts it, the power has been in your hands and heart all along. It's a profound reorientation from being just a spectator waiting for 2026 to being an active participant shaping it, understanding that our daily choices are the building blocks of the reality we're moving towards.
That reframes everything, doesn't it? Just knowing that every conscious choice, no matter how small it seems, is a direct contribution to this grand collective shift. Does Valier offer any specific practices or maybe mindsets that can help us maximize our co-creative potential during this really critical lead-up period?
Absolutely. Valier highlights several key practices that anchor this co-creative power. Firstly, just mindful awareness. Simply being fully present in each moment, observing your thoughts and your emotions without judgment. This space allows you to consciously choose responses that are aligned with love and growth, rather than reacting from old patterns of fear or habit.
Okay, mindfulness.
Secondly, intentional living. Making deliberate choices about what you consume, and that means everything, whether it's food, information, entertainment, relationships, ensuring it genuinely nourishes your highest self and aligns with the future you want to help create.
Conscious consumption.
Right. Thirdly, authentic expression. Speaking your truth with compassion and clarity, even when it feels uncomfortable. Valier suggests this helps to clear energetic blockages both personally and collectively, contributing to a field of greater honesty.
Speak your truth.
And lastly, compassionate action. Valier emphasizes that even small acts of kindness, generosity, or service create powerful ripple effects of positive energy. These aren't just nice things to do. Valier teaches that these practices are crucial threads in weaving the fabric of the future, ensuring that the reality we step into in and after 2026 is one built on a foundation of higher consciousness.
Mindfulness, intentionality, authenticity, compassion, powerful tools. And as we move towards this threshold, Valier asks us to hold one more image. Humanity as a grand orchestra, assembling, preparing for a magnificent performance. So if you're feeling a mix of nerves and excitement right now, Valier suggests that's perfectly natural. It's how an orchestra feels before a big performance. And the message is, you have a vital role to play in this symphony.
It's a truly inspiring metaphor Valier uses here. Yeah. Picture humanity as this grand orchestra assembling on a cosmic stage. The musicians, each representing a unique soul, have been busy tuning their instruments amid a cacophony of sound. Valier explains that this period we've been in, with all its seeming discord, its personal and collective challenges, was only preparation.
The tuning up phase.
Exactly. Now, Valier says, the conductor's baton is poised to give the downbeat, and 2026 is the moment that first note resonates. What's so beautiful about this image is the emphasis on every single individual's contribution. No instrument is insignificant. Every sound is needed to create the harmony of the new era.
Every sound is needed.
Yes. Some will lead, offering clear, resonant melodies. Others will hold communities together like a steady rhythm section. Many, many more will add subtle but essential undertones through their healing work, their art, or simply their peaceful presence. All are essential. And the downbeat, Valier suggests, won't necessarily be triggered by some grand external event, but by an inner readiness, a kind of collective inhale before creation pours forth.
A collective inhale.
Yeah. This metaphor really emphasizes that 2026 is likely the opening chord, not the finale of what humanity will create together. It calls each of us to listen for the cue, stay true to your unique note, and when the moment comes, play with all your heart. It's such an inspiring vision, suggesting a future where our individual efforts finally harmonize into a collective masterpiece, a new era forged by conscious, collaborative participation.
That's a powerful call to action, isn't it? Reminding us that we each hold a unique and absolutely necessary note in this unfolding symphony. So if 2026 is truly this opening chord, does Valier give any hints about the initial themes or melodies we can expect to hear in this new composition as it begins?
Valier does suggest that the initial themes emerging around and after 2026 will likely be centered around collective unity and the tangible manifestation of higher consciousness in action.
Okay, what?
We might expect to hear melodies of innovation, but innovation rooted in clear humanitarian principles. Harmonies of community building, based on shared values rather than just proximity or old structures. Rhythms of collaborative solutions finally emerging for some of those long-standing global challenges.
So, practical positive change.
Potentially, yes. It's not about expecting immediate perfection, Valier cautions, but might be about hearing the unmistakable sound of a new, more harmonious baseline being established in human affairs. That first note of 2026, as Valier describes it, will likely be a resonance of profound potential, inviting humanity to start composing a future built on greater balance, maybe more joy, and definitely more conscious co-creation. It's the sound, perhaps, of collective intention finally beginning to manifest with greater clarity and purpose here on the Earth plane. #tag outro.
Wow. Well, we've certainly covered a lot today. We've explored this profound, multifaceted intuition surrounding the year 2026, starting from that subtle, shared knowing and how it manifests personally through dreams and body sensations. We looked at the broader landscape of accelerated time and those unraveling old narratives. And we touched on the powerful collective convergence and the sacred implications Valier suggests. It really does seem to be a powerful, unorchestrated phenomenon that speaks to a deep collective readiness for something new. The deep dive will definitely continue to explore these currents of change, but for now, we leave you with that powerful image of the orchestra. Maybe take a deep breath yourself and just trust the song that's waiting to come through.
And Valier's core message for this specific time is so clear, maybe worth repeating. You were born for this time. So as 2026 draws nearer and you feel that subtle pull, that inner whisper, remember the unique note that only you were meant to play in this grand symphony humanity is about to create together. The final question Valier leaves us with is, what does it mean for you to play with all your heart in this unfolding moment, knowing, trusting that the world will be richer for it?